Affordability. Basically, the definition to afford something is that that price is reasonable for you, that that cost is reasonable, and you can afford it. You have the money to pay for it. Well, right now, affordability is at an all-time high in regards to real estate and mortgages because the money is so cheap. Like the same investment, let's just say you're putting 3% down on a $300,000 house, that's $9,000. The 9,000 is still the same 9,000 you would have spent last year, the same 3% on the same $300,000 house. The difference is your payment's probably $300 a month cheaper. That's a lot of money. Now that also means that you could afford more house. So maybe you want to look for that $350,000 house now at the same payment you were looking at last year. We just had a client close. They were putting around, let's see, they were putting 5% down and they were thinking about moving into an apartment. The $400,000 house that they purchased was less than $2,000 a month in their mortgage payment. The apartment they were looking at, which was about 3/4 of the size, was $1,000 more per month. Plus they were having to put up first and last month's rent, adding in the deposits, the cleaning deposit, the pet deposit. The numbers just don't work out when we look at, I'm going to spend, let's just say they spent that $3,000 on the apartment. That's $36,000 a year. 72,000 after 2 years, over 100 grand in 3 years that they have paid to somebody else just to borrow some space in a building that they're sharing with a bunch of other people, versus less than that, 2,000 a month that's going towards a home that's their home. They don't have to ask anyone to paint the room, to do any of the landscaping. It's their house. Knock down a wall inside the place, it's yours. And every year they're making those payments, every month, year over year, is paying down the principal, increased depreciation, and ultimately an asset. And once again, remember, unlike a stock, if I pay $2,000 into a stock, I get a $2,000 stock. And maybe the stock goes up. And if the stock goes up 10%, now it's $2,200 that I have. But if I invest in a home, let's say it's a $200,000 home, and I invest, let's say 3%, so that's $6,000. I invest 6,000. The house appreciates 10%. It's not the 6,000 that appreciates. It's the $200,000 home. So that's $20,000 appreciation. So now if I invest 6 and it appreciates to 20, I more than 3 times my money. Now over time, year over year and over year, like currently right now as a whole in Maricopa County in Arizona, in the Phoenix market, it's over 11% appreciation right now. Now, normal in like the US is 4 to 5%. We've always run closer to that 7, 8, 9 mark in Arizona. You're just seeing all-time records now. But even when that slows down, it's still appreciating. But I just want you to think of what's appreciating. It's the home, not the investment you made into it. So that 3%, 3.5%, whatever percentage you invested into it, so 3% of 200,000, $6,000, you invested that into the home. The 200 is what grows. That's different than when you buy a stock or a bond, because that is growing just the amount that you purchased, which would have been, in my case, the 2,000. So we're here to help you run the numbers. You don't know until you step on the scale and allow us to do so. And there's no obligation, there's no cost for me to calculate numbers and see what you can afford. And man, just like this nice couple that we closed on this week, they got a $400,000 house for less than $2,000 a month. That investment goes up, let's call it the 11%. That's $44,000 that they've made in that investment. That's a lot of money. Real estate just grows. And as you're paying down that principal and it's appreciating, that asset becomes even more valuable. It's a long-term play. So reach out to us today.